Welcome to rSlash Am I the Bad Guy, where OP tells her brother that the razor blade he's been stealing is the razor that she uses on her butthole. Am I the bad guy for telling my brother that the razor he keeps stealing from me was used to shave my butthole? My brother is 16. I'm a 20-year-old female. I recently got home from college. My brother has a bad habit of taking my stuff when he runs out of his own. He takes my shampoo, my hair products, my conditioner, my face wash. No matter how much I yell at him, when he's in a pinch and just trying to go fast and he's run out of stuff, he just uses mine. I usually hide my stuff under the sink, but I generally keep my razor in the shower. The first time he used my razor, I thought that it was an accident. I always put the plastic covering back on my razor, and I found that the next time I went to use it, it had been removed. I just told my brother that my razor was mine and to not do it again. Just in case though, I removed the old head and put the new one I had just used to shave my entire body in the drawer in the bathroom, so the next time I would shower, I could just grab it from there. The next time he did it, I got pissed. I literally went to use my razor, found that there was no head, and then went through my bathroom stuff to find another razor head, replaced it, and then used it to shave. I found out what he did and really got angry. I screamed at him that I literally used that razor to shave my butthole, and he used it on his face. He got mad because I replaced the plastic on the razor head and put it in my drawer with other razors, so he had assumed that it was new. He said that he wasn't even trying to use mine, but he was in a pinch and he just searched around for a head that he thought was a clean one. I told him that he still shouldn't have used my stuff after I specifically told him not to. My parents are mad at me because I was crude and that I didn't have to say that stuff about my butthole. They're also saying that my reaction was disproportionate and that I shouldn't have reacted so much because it was an honest mistake and he thought that it wasn't used. I did get pretty mad, like screaming at him that he was gross and had no respect for boundaries. I kind of feel bad because he's not talking to me now. Am I the bad guy? You know, honestly, this story was just shaping up to be a really typical sibling story where one sibling messes up and the other sibling teaches them a lesson and life goes on. But then, when you got to the part about the parents where they're taking the brother's side, it's clear that they're enabling his behavior. You're right, OP. Your brother doesn't have any respect for your things or your boundaries. So you have every right to get upset at him. And then your parents get mad at you for literally telling the truth and calling him out? I'm guessing that what we have here is just good old-fashioned sexism. A combination of boys will be boys and young women should be proper, composed, and never upset other people. That's just a guess though, but still, it's unfair of your parents to take your brother's side. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 bad guys. I'm giving everyone else 1 out of 5 bad guys. In any event, this story is super funny, and I hope that your brother's neck and chin smells like buttholes. Am I the bad guy for humiliating and demasculating my brother in front of our family? My brother and I have a very strained relationship. In most of our family's eyes, he's the golden child. I'm just the extra kid. Growing up, he overshadowed me at every possible event and milestone. He was the pride of the family, while I was just the child that cost more money. My brother followed my father's footsteps and joined the military right out of high school. He served about 8 years before he got out. Unfortunately, when I was younger, I was diagnosed with a form of epilepsy, which I was fortunately able to outgrow, but it disqualified me from joining as well. Anyway, a few years ago, I got into shooting competitions, specifically 3-gun, rifle, shotgun, and handgun. I got pretty good at it, and I'm now in the process of being sponsored and going to national competitions. None of my family cares, which is fine. But my brothers decided that at every opportunity he could, he would explain to me that there's no way that I'm that good, that he's way better than me because he's combat trained. After a while of this, I called him out. One long argument later, he agreed to do a mock competition in front of the family by his invitation. My mom, my dad, sister-in-law, and a few others showed up. A buddy of mine who sets up these competitions agreed to set up the competition for us. There were 4 stages, 3 general stages, and 1 head-to-head. By the way, this was all done safely and under the supervision of actual professionals. We all used gun safety and proper management. I provided the ammo, provided my own firearms, and even got my friend to be a referee. I let my brother practice with the guns as well as the equipment, trying to get rid of all possible excuses. I destroyed him. On the last competition, the head-to-head, I hit all of my targets, but my brother hit half of his. He made excuses, which I dismissed. I gave him multiple opportunities to restart or try again. He then said that I was the butthole for humiliating and demasculating him. My parents also called me a butthole and some other words. My sister-in-law stayed quiet until we were packing up. While everyone else was coddling my brother, she thanked me. My girlfriend asked me if I really had to finish off his side, which I admit was me showing off. It got to the point that my mom said that I couldn't come over for Mother's Day until I apologized to my brother. When I refused, she called me a butthole again and said that I couldn't come back until I apologized and made it up to him. Am I the bad guy for calling my brother out and then proving that he's not the best at everything like the family believes? Wow, OP. I thought that maybe you were exaggerating in the first paragraph when you said that he overshadowed you at everything and the family loves him and hates you. But no, you really weren't kidding, were you? First he made fun of you, then he set up the competition, then he invited the family, and then predictably you destroyed him. And he says that you humiliated him? Sounds like he humiliated himself. And even if he had one, wouldn't that just mean that he humiliated and demasculated you? Oh man, OP. I'm gonna read this comment from Love Beach because I really agree with it. Hell yeah! I think that this is your cue to cut contact completely and never look back. He humiliated and emasculated himself with all his bragging about how good, make that how much better he is than you, and then failed miserably. So his own wife thanked you? Ha! That's very telling. Walk away from that mess with your head held high, and if anyone asks if you're ever going to apologize, tell them not to hold your breath. And then Cat Culture replies to that comment with something that I was kind of wondering in the back of my head as well. The wife's reaction makes me wonder how miserable she is staying with that butthole of a brother or whether he abuses her emotionally, not the bad guy. Yeah, OP, the fact that the wife went out of her way to thank you for humiliating her husband says a lot about their relationship. OP, you get 0 out of 5 bad guys. I'm giving your brother and everyone else in his family, except for his wife, 2 out of 5 bad guys. Am I the bad guy for cooking food while my roommate's girlfriend was here and offering her some? I'm a 29-year-old guy who's from the South. I grew up in New Orleans in Texas. My mom runs a catering business, and the majority of her clients were either in Louisiana or Texas. I mention this because I grew up cooking and helping my mom cook for the business. I was frying chicken and catfish when I could reach the stove, and making gumbo and buttermilk biscuits at a very young age. I'm currently in culinary school. I have lived in a rented house on the East Coast with my roommate, a 22-year-old guy, for a year and a half. He's not a friend or anything. We just linked up because we both needed roommates in the area. He's good to live with, and we watch movies and shows together. We hang out and go out for drinks sometimes. Anyways, my roommate has been seeing his girlfriend, who's 20, for like 6 months. I've met her before and seen her in passing. My roommate and his girlfriend had a 2-week break from school. She still lives with her parents, so she decided to stay here the whole 2 weeks. During that time, I was just living my life the way I normally do. The first time it got weird was when I was about to go mow the lawn and my roommate stopped me and said that he wanted to mow. But usually, I always mow. A couple of days later, I was outside washing my car. I asked both of them if they wanted me to do theirs, and she looked like she was going to agree, but he looked at her angrily, so they declined. I cook pretty frequently at home as well, and I usually let my roommate have some. So anytime I made food, I would say that they could both have some, and this would make him pissed. A few weeks ago, when she was here visiting, we were all talking, and she mentioned this specific kind of cheesecake that she really likes. So I made the cheesecake and sent out a group text saying that everyone could have it. My roommate got upset. I don't see how this is overstepping a boundary because this is how I treat all of our guests. The other day, he told me how annoying it was to hear his girlfriend talk about how good my cooking is. I'm not trying to make him look bad or anything. This is simply how I was raised. If I bake 2 loaves of bread, I'm gonna leave it out for the house to eat. Also, OP clarifies, the cheesecake is just a common courtesy type of thing for me. When my roommate's parents come over, I make pound cake because they like pound cake. If a guest is coming, I make them what they like. There's nothing odd about picking up their favorite chips or making some tea when guests arrive. It's just how I was raised. Down in the comments, I really like this reply from Melindrew. Not the bad guy. You're raising a bar that he doesn't want raised by getting things done. He wants to pretend that he's a better partner than he really is. He also doesn't want you to highlight things that he isn't interested in doing. In a way, you're unintentionally showing that he isn't the best partner material around. Keep doing what you're doing. He's being ridiculous. Yeah, OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 bad guys. I'm giving the roommate, let's say 1 out of 5 bad guys, maybe 0.5. Am I the bad guy for allowing my niece and nephew to destroy the house by not disciplining them after my sister-in-law specifically instructed me to not discipline them? I'm 17 years old, and my brother Casey is much older than me at 32. He's married to my sister-in-law, Mandy, who's 36, and they have 2 kids, my nephew Nick, who's 3, and my niece Maya, who's 2. Mandy recently asked my parents if I could babysit Nick and Maya since Mandy wanted to visit her mom and the original babysitter canceled last minute. I had never babysat Nick or Maya before. I honestly don't have any real experience in babysitting, but my parents begged me and offered to pay me, so I agreed. Babysitting Nick and Maya was a nightmare. They acted like they've never been told no or been forced to behave in their entire lives. Drawing on the walls with crayons and markers, trying to flush bath toys down the toilet, throwing themselves on the floor and screaming for candy. The list goes on and on. I called Mandy explaining what Nick and Maya were doing and that I was having them stand in the corner for timeout. Mandy ended up coming home early, but not to deal with Nick or Maya. Instead, Mandy was angry with me and told me that I wasn't allowed to discipline them because I'm not their mother and you need to learn your place. Well, the next weekend, Mandy begged me to babysit Nick and Maya because she said she wanted to visit her mom again but couldn't find another babysitter. My parents forced me to agree, and Mandy told me again that I wasn't allowed to discipline Nick or Maya. I'm pretty sure that this is the real reason why she couldn't find a babysitter, by the way. Since Mandy said that I couldn't discipline them, I decided to do as I was told. I watched them to make sure they didn't try to run away from home or anything, but otherwise left Nick and Maya to their own devices. Obviously, the house was a wreck by the time Mandy got home. Mandy was furious with me and tried convincing my parents to not pay me. My parents still paid me since a deal's a deal. But they said that they were disappointed with me because even though Mandy's no discipline rule was silly, I had dozens of better ways of keeping my niece and nephew occupied, instead of being spiteful and immature and just letting them destroy the house. My brother Casey hasn't said anything about it, but to be honest, he's kind of an absentee father. He spends most of his time at work. When he is home, he kind of just acts like the fun uncle while Mandy does the actual parenting. I'm looking for unbiased perspectives here. Am I the bad guy? So yeah, OP, you probably could have done something to get the kids to not be destructive, like put on a Disney movie or something. The issue is, they hired a babysitter with 0 experience and told him that he can't discipline kids, and that's exactly what OP did, not discipline the kids. So you can't then turn around and get angry at the inexperienced babysitter that you hired. You know, honestly, as I think about it, the word hire isn't even fair here because Mandy didn't hire you. Basically, she just begged you for free labor and then your parents stepped in and offered to pay you. So yeah, Mandy got free, inexperienced work and then is upset that the work wasn't very good. Like, what did you expect? OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 bad guys because even though you could have handled this better, no one can really expect you to because you don't have any training or experience or any sort of plan outlined for you. I'm giving Mandy 1.5 out of 5 bad guys. Am I the bad guy for lying to my mother-in-law about the gender of our baby after she promised to keep it a secret? I didn't really want a gender reveal party, but my husband's family made a big deal about it, so I agreed. My mother-in-law was convinced that I knew the gender and insisted I tell her. I honestly didn't, and I told her that fact. She wore me down after a month of bothering me about it. She begged me and promised that she wouldn't tell anyone. This was all in text messages, by the way. So I just told her it was a girl. I figured, hey, I had a 50-50 chance of being right, and it would get her off my back. Well, she lied. When we cut the gender reveal cake to reveal Blue inside, there was really awkward silence. She had told literally all the guests from her side of the family so they could bring appropriate gifts. My friends and family quickly changed gears to congratulate us on our son. My mother-in-law came over and hissed at me that I made her look stupid. I reminded her that she had promised not to tell anyone. She said that she never made that promise, so I showed her our text conversation. Some of the family was right there when I did that, so they heard her admit that she lied and never intended to keep that promise. She said that it was a dick move and that I only did that to embarrass her. I again reminded her that I told her on multiple occasions that I did not know the gender. My husband wants me to apologize to keep the peace. I probably will, but I don't think that I was the butthole she seems to think that I am. OP, you caught her dead to rights. Made a promise in text message, bam, here's the text message, look at it, you made the promise, you lied, you're a liar. And it's your fault for catching her in a lie? Nah, man. OP, you get 0 out of 5 bad guys. I'm giving the mother-in-law 1 out of 5 bad guys. That was rSlash the A, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.